and doing the clipping of the newspapers, and he moved it out. But Jan Aldrich went with, what is Green's first name? Brian Green, maybe? Anyway, we covered it here on this show. So we're doing our best to try to track what's going on. We have several people in the world. I'm going to get their names between NICAP, CUFOS, and APRO, and all that Jan's supplying us on Project 1947. And Bill was involved at one time, speaks a lot of information. But there's a thread among all organizations, associations, and groups in Facebook, whether we want to admit it or not. And most of all of us, actually, it's a rather small world as far as the old guys go. Okay, the baby boomers are those 55 and older. I'm speaking to you. I'm 68, and I was one of the young ones when I got involved. Okay, that's why I get involved at 33 years old. He was tapping out at 50-something. He died at a young age. Matter of fact, let me look him up. Are you back, Tommy? Let me look up J. Allen Hynek, because I need his name. I had no idea he was dying, Tommy. Let me look. J. Allen. Now you got Theresa and Tommy. American astronomer. Paul Hynek, Open Minds, Project Blue Book. So I guess Paul is his son, J. Allen Hynek. So probably for entertainment purposes, his son can take over his estate. But Joseph Allen Hynek was an American astronomer, professor, and ufologist. He perhaps is best remembered for his UFO research. Tommy, put yourself on mute, darling. UFO research. Hynek acted as a scientific advisor to UFO studios undertaken by the U.S. Air Force under 3 consecutive projects: Project Sign, Project Grudge, and Project Blue Book. Tommy, mute. Can you hear me? Can you mute? You sound like you're washing dishes and plucking chickens. He was born May 1st, 1910, Chicago, Illinois, and he died April 27th, 1986 in Scottsdale, Arizona. His spouse was Mimi Curtis Hynek. She lived 1942 to 1986. Oh, my gosh. She married during that time, excuse me. I was going to say she died the same year. Martha Doone Alexander, 1932 to 1939. Children, Joel Hynek, and education, the University of Chicago, 1931. Richard T. Crane Medical Prep High School. How about that? Well, he was the gentleman I met, and I guess he's most responsible for Project Blue Book. The date of death, April 27, 1986. So I had met him between when I went in at 4/29/85 because I had just left Denver, Colorado, is the way my mind wants to remember it. And right there, I was flying between 85 and 86 to Great Lakes, Illinois for a swap over from IS, that's what the intelligence services, maybe IS, Air Force, and Navy, and they decided I didn't have to go to Antarctica, which was a good thing because I had friends loading up in the cafeteria with all these big, huge, oh my God, equipment with the fur. Oh my gosh, heavy equipment. I was so glad I didn't have to go. But by the time he met me on an airplane, I was reading Aliens Among Us, so he asked if I believed in that. But somehow he had gone over. He was flying somewhere, but it was I think it was a put-up job, so he could meet me because I had UFO experiences and it was in my record, and I'd already been. By the time I met him, let's see, yeah, I'd already been on the Jesse Marcel case. Sure had, yeah, and Stan Friedman. So people already knew who I was in the Navy because I'd been out to Balboa, I believe 76 Hospital, where they could put my Social Security in as a corpsman. So I didn't understand when they already said I was a corpsman, but I don't have any recollection or memory of that. So when I went back through boot camp, which I do remember the second time after I'd already been out of country in Europe and Japan and Africa and all these other places, I remember, I went to Spain and Portugal, but I went back 4/29/85 was enlisted, and it was a leap year, and so I had 4 years per, so that was 32 years. And then later on, they had me sign another contract, and then another contract at Fort Hood, and I had to do another ASVAB. So I don't know how many ASVABs they've got on, or U.S. Treasury or D-Lab test on me, but apparently I did pretty good because I was smart. But J. Allen Hynek got hold of me, and I didn't know what I was agreeing to, but then that's just the way it is when you're young and dumb, and, well, I won't go the rest of it, but most of you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, Tommy, tell me what you know about Oceana, or this haze that's going to get to be a part of the Ascension and the Andromeda part over there with the Collins, because this is all part of Ace Folklife. It doesn't have to be part of UFO Secret Space, although it is, because it goes under the 9 in channeling with, what was Carla's last name, Tommy, in Kentucky? Was it McCarty?
I don't know. I thought you asked me about Anna.
Yeah, is it Anna Hayes? Let me go look up Carla.
Her real name's
Carla.
Anna, but she changed it to whatever you said, the first word.
You talk about the girl you know.
Well, it's the same person. Basically, she did all her work with aliens, claims she knows everything about everything. The beginning of Earth, beginning of life, beginning of the races that came here. She claims she has every story that can be told. She knows all the alien races. She said she worked with, I think, 137, and she classifies each one of them. She's one of the only people that I know that did that. But she takes her daughter on the ship with her, which I don't know how good or bad that is, but I saw a video she did, a 12-hour video, which explained all her alien friends. But she says she's living in a world without karma, and she's here to do a lot of things. But I knew her before and after she was famous. She was psychic to a level that my friend was at, because she saw his ship, and he always said his ship was above us. So she has some incredible artwork. She drew most of it in black and white and had these artists color it in. And it looks incredible. I mean, the designs, the graphics, and all that stuff is really, really incredible. But what she translated to is a different story. She's been famous for, I'd say she's been working on getting famous for the past 24 years. She was living with my friend way back then. When she wrote her first 2 books, she wrote them in a month. And then she started her success that way. But in the interim, now she's claiming a lot of things. So most people in the UFO world that are trying to talk like she does assumes that they're the higher power, and they have a lot of the inner knowledge that very few people have or can touch. And it goes as far as how man was made, what races brought him here, what races did what to who. I mean, it's all the stories that aliens program people with, and that she's totally into it. I challenged her a few times when I met her, so I didn't agree with much that she said, because at that time she said she was above karma, and I said, if you're above karma, you wouldn't be on this planet. And that's my teachings, what I was shown, what I experienced. And second of all, like you were talking about, aliens don't go into the higher realms. They don't have feelings and emotions. They can't get there. So where they go is back to planet Earth, if they go anywhere. Aliens are reincarnating to this planet. And that's why a lot of people think they were aliens, because they probably were. But all these contracts that they say they sign with aliens in their last life, you don't sign a contract with an alien for your next life. And if you do, you have no awareness of anything because you wouldn't want to do that. Because the idea is to move on, not to come back. So anybody that's trying to come back is already looking to stay here for some unknown reason. I can go into that because, Buddhist teachings go into the aspect of going into the bliss state. And the bliss state is the space between this world, the yes world, and the world beyond that, which it doesn't go past. So it's a void state, being totally one with nothingness, if you can perceive that. And what it actually means, you let go of who you are, what you are, and you become part of the light and sound. You resonate within that, but you're not thinking. You're no longer concerned with anything other than vibrating within that. And if that's what you want to do for infinity, you can. It's an open thing, if that's where you perceive to want to go, but that's where Buddha went. He never attained a higher level. Sorry to say that, people. I know I live with a Buddhist Lama, and it's hard for me to talk with her because Buddha didn't believe in God. So how could you get somewhere when you don't believe in it? Or how would you know about it if you don't believe in it? You wouldn't. So for me, most teachings, which I studied many of them, I realized they don't want to go to God. They want to become self-realized, God-realized, and think they're God. And that's the whole problem with this whole thing about being one with the universe right now, which a lot of people want to be. I said, be one with a bunch of stars. I said, see where that gets you. Be one with the universe, or even be one with the sun. See where that gets you. The sun's going to burn out. And even if you stay here as long as the sun does, you're not growing spiritually, even though people believe they are. So it's a contradictory almost in every aspect of what's being taught, told, and lectured about in the UFO world and the spiritual world. And the only reason why I could talk about this, I had 5 deaths. I spent half of my life traveling to the higher worlds, not the lower worlds. The lower world means the physical, astral, and you move into the mental plane when you go past self-realization into God realization. And God realization doesn't mean you become God either, which very few people understand. So there's just so many contradictories why I'm trying to do a lecture and a workshop to bring a little more truth to people that want to hear it, because it's very important to move forward if you want to leave the lower realm. And the thing that other people don't talk about in any realm is Satan and the demons. You might hear somebody speak about it once or twice here and there, but to go into detail why planet Earth is what it is and why people stay here and reincarnate over and over is because they're attached to it. And if you can't give up attachment, you'll never leave planet Earth. You'll reincarnate, come back for all the stupidest reasons. And it has nothing to do with God. So the word is, what do you want to attain in this lifetime? What are you willing to do to attain that? Many people are not willing to go out of their way, meaning putting time in to do the exercises, to do the learning, studying your dreams, studying life in itself, studying the things that keep us here, help us grow. And there's very little truth that we learn here that helps us grow spiritually. If you think giving a homeless person food makes you grow spiritually, it doesn't. People want to say, well, I help people when they fall down. Well, that's a natural instinct. It should be a natural instinct. You shouldn't have to be, I'm going to get good points because I took the person off the ground or I gave money to charity. All these rich people that give money to charity think they're doing a good thing, paying their debt off, and you don't pay it off that way. I just heard a song, love can't be bought, sold, and all that, which is true. But it's the same with spiritual growth. You can't buy it, you can't sell it. When somebody tries to buy it or sell it, they're not buying what they're trying to buy. And you can't. You can't buy spiritual awareness. And you can't sell it either. And very few people maintain that awareness or care about the definition of what it means to sell spiritual awareness. You do a conference, you charge $5,000 or even $50 or $500. What are you charging for? Well, I'm teaching them how to become a fifth-dimensional being or a sixth-dimensional being. Those words sound great to somebody that's, well, you're only third or fourth dimension. No, we're already in fourth dimension. We have been for a long time. Fourth dimension means we can do remote viewing, astral projection. That's what fourth dimension is. So to say you go into fifth dimension, guess what? You're going to be leaving your body and not coming back to it because you won't need a body. All these things are so simple, More speakers like to make them much more complicated than they are.